You're watching Leafs Morning Take with host Nick Alberga and former NHLer Jay Rosehill. The show starts now.
All right, just putting this out there right away. Pete DeBoer is not taking Lane Lambert's role on the Toronto Maple Leafs after Lambert left for Seattle last week. But he did get canned by the Dallas Stars today. It's the Friday edition of Leafs Morning Take presented by Bet365. Nick Alberga, Jay Rosehill, how we feeling on this Friday?
I think that's why Leafs fans get chirped every time anyone's available. He's coming to Toronto. It's like Pete DeBoer is not going to be the associate coach of the Leafs. But interesting, people called that after ripping on your franchise goaltender after losing out in the Western Conference Finals. That's a bit of a no-no. He got gassed, but I wonder now, A, if he's going to keep getting paid on his original contract. I think they might be different. Like, you're just donezo, or is it guaranteed money? But if he re-signs with someone in the near future, what his AAV is going to look like as a head coach, it's going to be massive.
My understanding is when you get fired, the contract carries over until you get the next job. And then, yeah, he's going to get paid. But I felt like the writing was on the wall as soon as it came out that, you know, his post-game remarks after Game 5, and then Dave Pagnotta last week into the fourth period talking about several players in that room not being very happy with what was conveyed to the media. You sort of felt the writing was on the wall. And who are they going to pick? The 8-year extension star netminder or the head coach who's been there for a couple of years? I wonder.
Yeah, it's funny. I've been in teams and locker rooms where the coach just gets soured on the players. It can happen fast or it can be drawn out. I don't think that was a case where they were just bashing heads with Pete DeBoer for a long time. But, you know, sometimes things get stagnant and a coach kind of goes in a direction or shows some frustration or might turn his back a little bit on the team or certain parts of the team. And, you know, the whispers in the locker room and the shower and the change room and eating dinner and whatnot kind of get a little bit louder. And I think that that process kind of happened quick in Dallas, and he gone. Pretty good coach. Obviously will land on his feet somewhere, I'm sure. Where that is, I think it might take some time.
Oh, man, the statistics that runs in my mind as a Leafs supporter, 9-0 in Game 7 is Pete DeBoer. Just think about that. Our Super Chat charity partner this season is Sick Kids. Want to make sure that your question or comment gets on the show. Hit us up with a Super Chat. Proceeds from our Super Chat will go to Sick Kids, ranked the #1 research-intensive children's hospital in Canada and 3rd in the world. By the way, the clanging, if you hear clanging and banging behind me, they're digging a hole to China or something. No, they're making a new TTC line near my condo here. And dude, it is so loud, and it started at 7 a.m. and it just has continued for 3 straight hours here.
Poor little Nicky boy hasn't been up 7 a.m. since his schoolboy days.
Likely, yes.
Tough on you.
Yeah,
Producer Vic, he says that DeBoer has 1 year left at $4 million. Yep. And when you get canned, if you rehire with a different team for less, the original team makes up the difference. So yeah, he's gonna be in good shape regardless. I think he'll make more than, I think he'll make like $6 or $7 million if he re-signs with a team that really needs an experienced head coach.
You know who set this all up was Mike Babcock when he signed that contract with the Leafs years ago. I think it was $7 million a season, something like that. And he like changed the landscape in many ways. A pioneer is Mike Babcock, right? He led the way for. Yes, a trailblazer. That's the word. And he led the way for his contemporaries. He really, really did. It's wild to think about like a decade later, though.
Yeah, well, when you think the money that's going through these teams these days, and there is a salary cap, and there's some owners that are like, you know, you look at who wins the Stanley Cup, and the teams that have success, obvious, or oftentimes have a really solid head coach. I'm thinking John Cooper. I'm thinking Paul Maurice. These types of guys, the guys that have had success in Chicago, Pittsburgh, these teams that, you know, you can look at and say, yeah, their head coach really got those guys on track. So teams are willing to pay them exorbitant amounts of money these days, where that really wasn't the case in the past as much. Maybe Babcock led the way with that. Hard to say. I still look at that Babcock and go, I understand what they were doing, what they were trying to do with his pedigree, experience, and cup rings and whatnot. And they wanted a guy to come in and kind of change the culture and get them to be more, you know, disciplined and accountable. and they just kind of picked an asshole, which is a lot of wasted time in Leafs land.
An asshole, but a really good coach, and you got to call a spade a spade. Like I always like to play the what if game. What if Babcock chose Buffalo the way many felt the direction was going there? Last minute he swerved, chose Toronto. Do you think they would still be 14 years playoff drought? I don't know about that.
Yeah, interesting. I don't know. The what if game is always fun.
Yeah.
You'd think he'd be able to. I don't know, man. Would he cook his man? Did he ever torch himself? Right? He just story after story of him just burning himself down. Would that have happened the same way in Buffalo? Hard to say. We've mentioned all the players that Buffalo has had in the past that you look at, you're like, you had all those guys, dude, and you let them go. It's kind of wild. Maybe he could have got more out of them and got them to come together as a team and have more success. Who knows? It's hard to play the what if game.
Yeah, Sam Reinhart, Brandon Montour, among many. Jack Eichel have gone on from Buffalo and won the Stanley Cup. But I think it's so interesting from that front. A couple years back, Mike Babcock paved the way for everybody. And Pete DeBoer, the latest coach, fired. That's why I think it's so interesting. You look at a team like Carolina. I brought this up on social media. They've missed, many opportunities to go to a Stanley Cup, and they ride and die with Rod Brind'Amour. But there's a couple teams in this league you almost have to give them props because it's almost like the move every time to just fire a coach. There always needs to be that scapegoat. It's never the GM's fault. It's the coach's fault. Easiest scapegoat in hockey.
Yeah, it's easy to make that. It's an easy adjustment to make, right? There's no trade. There's no implicate. It's just it's an easy way to shake it up. Like when you go from one coach to another, when that new coach comes in, it's a reset button, man. Like regardless of who it is or what their pedigree or what the past was, it doesn't matter. There's a big time reset. That coach comes in hot and horny, excited for the opportunity, really wants to make his mark on the team and, claims he knows what's wrong and the direction they need to head and has a plan all laid out. And, his first meeting with the group is going to be like, here's where I think our identity lies. And I really believe in this group and we can get it back on track and blah, blah, blah. Regardless, it is, and then their first practice, it's always high energy tempo. The coach is really involved and really vocal. And, it's an easy way to make a big reset, a hell of a lot easier than changing players out this day and age in the cap era with all the restrictions and no trades and all the stuff going on. It makes sense that it's the easy change. It just sometimes you think it gets used too much, especially the last couple of years. It's been like a revolving door of head coaches in the NHL.
I'm just very curious because DeBoer, I think, is an elite company where I wonder if a team out there who hasn't made a decision or a change would make a change for Pete DeBoer, like much similar to what we saw, like Jim Montgomery, Bruce Cassidy. I do view Pete DeBoer as an upper echelon head coach, albeit the Stanley Cup has been eluding him and he has struggled to find a good chemistry, we'll say, with his netminders, whether it's Marc-Andre Fleury, whether it's Jake Ottinger, but the number speaks for itself. Again, as I talked about earlier on, 9-0 in Game 7s. He is a clutch coach when it comes to series deciding games, and I think that's definitely something I would bring up if I were him for sure. But I'm just curious to see if somebody steps up and goes past the line and picks up Pete DeBoer, because conventional wisdom would suggest that next season, first coach fired, it's going to be in favor of Pete DeBoer, right?
Yeah, it's just like, who is that? What's the direct? Where's their franchise at? What city do they live in? What state are they? How far away is that from Pete's family? Like, it's kind of hard to play that game. It'd be nice to be maybe have some options, but like mid-season, someone gets canned in like Buffalo. Like, do I want to go to Buffalo for the next 5 years? I don't know. It's interesting to say, but they don't often have their pick of the litter, as there's only one spot on each team. But it's always funny when the guy gets canned or hired or whatever, is how much of that was because of the coach, how much of it was, the team, the player. It's just funny when the blame gets handed down and guys get canned or fired. Like, how much of that really was him? Even when they win, how much of that really was the coach? It's you never know. It's not something that can really be measured on paper.
Easy to blame the head coach, that is for sure. We got a really, really fun guest a couple days back. Now we had a chance to go one-on-one with Easton Cowan, fresh off winning the Memorial Cup MVP. That's coming up in about 20 minutes here, Rosie.
The Cowboy. Yeah, fresh off.
He was horned up for that interview, eh?
Yeah, he seems to...
Chipper.
Yeah, obviously he's been surprised he wasn't hung titties after the party they would have had, but he seemed, he seemed kind of ready and mature. I think he said, "I'll be ready for camp" 2-3 times during the interview, which I like to hear. Obviously very polished, playing in London, knows how to talk to the media and stuff, but just seemed to be more mature than the last time. Not a knock on him
Yeah.
previously, but just seemed to have this gravitas to him that he hasn't had maybe in the past. And obviously doing the things he's done and winning the MVP and having a Memorial Cup under your belt and all the things that he's done in the last year, I think he's done some growing, which is a great sign for Leafs Nation.
Well, that's what I was going to say. All grown up. That's the feel I got when interviewing Easton Cowan. And I don't mind that there's been ups and downs in his junior hockey career, right? If you think about just the disappointments of a couple World Juniors and some tough moments. And we talked about the correlations in the interview, by the way, with the Edmonton Oilers, where the London Knights last year were in the Memorial Cup Final against Saginaw, who's also in the OHL, and 22 seconds left in regulation. I believe Saginaw scored the winner. And you have to live with that for a calendar year. It's easier said than done. I'm not sure what was said inside that Knights room, and Cowan was the captain of that team last year. This year was Denver Barkey. But I don't know what has to be said or what is said. But to get back there, man, is tough. You got to win the OHL. Then you got to get back and play some of the best teams. They played Gavin McKenna and company. Like, that is a hard track back, but they did it.
Yeah, big time. That's one of the toughest trophies to win in sports. You don't just have to win your league like everyone else. You got to go through this tournament with the other teams who have won their league. So very difficult to do. Impressive performance. But I was thinking the same thing. And maybe that's why that sign of maturity kind of is on him a little bit during that interview. He went through a rough World Juniors. Let's call it what it was. It was a disaster. Not for the team as well, but Cowie didn't exactly lead the team to victory. He was trying to, which I like. He took some rough penalties, and again, like you said, I think that it's a positive experience to learn through that. It wasn't like he just went away and was a ghost, right? I think that would be a problem. He was trying to do too much, trying to push the envelope, took a bunch of penalties, put his team down. But the fact that he was trying to play with piss and vinegar and invoke his presence on the game says volumes about his character to me. Being as young as he is and having that experience, I think you're only going to draw positive things from that. Now he knows what that feels like. Now he knows what that looks like. Now he knows where his head was at and what his actions that he took that may or may not have worked out. It's just an experience. And I mean, that's why when you go shopping for players, guys with experience and experience winning is so valuable because they have all those lessons learned. They know what it's feeling like. They don't have to feel it out and go through that with your team. They've already learned those lessons. And by all accounts, I think this season for Easton Cowan was a monster.
At the Leafs Nation 401, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button here on YouTube, Leafs Morning Take, wherever you find your podcast. Make sure to leave us a 5-star review. And don't forget to visit theleafsnation.com. Staying on the London Knights beat for a second. I thought this was a cool story from yesterday, but the Leafs have invited standout goalie Austin Elliott, who I don't know if you caught much of the Memorial Cup. It was a pretty incredible story how he was cast away in the WHL. I think lands on waivers in the O, and the Knights take a chance on this guy. He had an incredible year. Memorial Cup, he was 4-1, 1.59, 9.43. Regular season, he was 32-1. That's not a typo. The OHL postseason, 16-2. The lowest team GAA in the OHL. They won the Dave Pinckney Trophy, and he has committed to UMass Lowell. Talk about a late bloomer here in Austin Elliott, but going to Maple Leafs training camp first.
Yeah, those numbers are ridiculous when you look at them. They don't even he lost
video game numbers.
Year.
Yeah,
what are we talking about here? It's unbelievable. Yeah, and those are potential to be those diamonds in the rough, the late bloomers, the guys that weren't really there in their draft year. Something happened. Oftentimes, there's a reason. Personal strife or injury or something like that during their draft year, and they kind of get unpicked, and maybe that lights a fire under their ass. They figure things out or get put in the right position and kind of explode as this guy has. And it's nice that the Leafs have taken notice. Obviously, their scouts would be close by in London, and they're going to invite this guy to camp and see what he's got. But anytime you've got a guy with potential and good experience and numbers and confidence coming down the barrel, especially a goaltender of your pipeline, it's a good sign. So we'll see. Keep an eye on this guy and see what happens with him.
I love those underdog stories. Like, he was off the map. Who knows how he's feeling in his career? Like, I don't know what his next steps were, but he found his footing in London, has really recovered, played his game, and been a key cog to success for that team, bringing home their third Memorial Cup in franchise history. So you're right. Something to monitor in the fall is Austin
Third,
Elliott.
eh?
Yeah, only third. I thought it was more for sure too.
I thought there'd be more for sure. Yeah, I was
Yeah.
thinking like, man, their recruiting process would not be too difficult, right? With their pedigree and the way they interesting. I thought it'd be more, but obviously even more special for that team to get that one done after the heartbreak last year.
Meantime, what was your takeaway from game one of the Stanley Cup Final? You starting to believe something I've been telling you for 3 months now, that the Oilers, this is their year to win the Stanley Cup?
Very well might be. It was a hell of a game, man. I was on the golf course actually with my kids, and we were watching it in the golf cart. And whop, they score a minute and 6 seconds in. Edmonton does, and I was like, "Wow, is that ever like the dream start in that building?" Like you can hear the crowd come through your television in that barn. It was just electric. So, but then inevitably, you peek back a little couple holes later, and it's like, yeah, they're down 2 now, or what did they get down 2? No, it's 2-1. But the Cats just don't go away. They know how to score. They can score in bunches. Too. They can flip the script so fast. But inevitably, the Oil came out, and that winning goal, to me, just screams a team who is absolutely dialed, is talk about chemistry and knowing where each other are and having a sense for the plays to develop. Just gross, man. But again, if they have the best 2 players in the world, certainly the best 2 players that are playing in this series, if they want to impose their will on this series, they could absolutely win the Stanley Cup. I still have my money on Florida, but it's not like I can't be wrong. Obviously, they're 2 great teams, and they're going at it. And I really like the way the Oilers looked through a bit of a topsy-turvy first half of the game. They ended up coming away with a win by just being relentless. And both teams are relentless, man. Like, this is a coin toss. I would not be surprised if it goes 7.
Yeah, they're both juggernauts. I mean, you don't have to spend much time discussing and deciphering what's going on, but these are 2 elite teams going at it. But you're so right. Like, the major takeaway for me was Stuart Skinner in game 1. It just shows you that if your goaltending is even pedestrian, I thought he was better than pedestrian, you have a good shot of winning. Like, I thought down 3-1 and 3-2, Skinner made some big saves that changed the course of that game, and I felt Edmonton took over in the third period, OT. And then 40-year-old Corey Perry, like, just a great dish to McDavid, great sauce pass, great finish. But it's we talked about this yesterday. It's kind of cool to see star players in elite moment, like making big plays at important times. Like, how often do we talk about that with the Maple Leafs? It always seems like it's Draisaitl or McDavid, or a combo of the both when Edmonton needs it in the Stanley Cup playoffs, eh?
Yeah, that's what it is, man. It's players being clutch, and usually high-end players just continue being high-end, and then there's that extra little factor of being clutch in the big moments, and it's what the Leafs have lacked. They've had very successful seasons, very successful campaigns, and 100-plus point seasons personally and team-wise, and blah, 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 and then it gets down to that, we're tied here coming down the gauntlet, and it's time to do something special. They just seem to disconnect and not get it done. It has not been the story of the Toronto Maple Leafs. Their star players making star plays at big moments. No one can have Connor McDavid and Draisaitl. That is special, but you see it every year when teams go on runs. It's those clutch factor, those big moments that the guys show up and get the job done. So the Leafs are still looking for that, obviously. Next year is a new year, obviously, as it always is. But a very exciting series that we have right now. Skinner, yeah, obviously phenomenal. What about Bobber? Like, maybe a 1 or 2 he could have had. Like, he certainly didn't play his best game, I wouldn't say. I didn't hear anyone hanging the loss on him, but a couple that he on another day could have probably had.
I always default to Carter Hutton, and he thought Bobrovsky was really, really good in game 1. I think we put so much emphasis on goaltenders, but I agree. Like, the Arvidsson one specifically, if that was like Joe Woll or Stolarz, I'd be pissed off about it. But
100%.
the trade-off is that these guys make saves that you don't expect them to make, right? But it's like the timeliness of the saves. How often we talk about that in Toronto, right?
Yeah, it's the amount of saves, the timeliness, how big they are, how, the biggest thing for a bench to get that life and get a kick in the ass is everyone sees the play develop, looks like a surefire guaranteed goal, right? That would not be the goaltender's fault. And
Mhm.
somehow they get there to make the save. And, that's like to the other bench, the guys that think they're about to score, it's really frustrating to that player. It gives life to the bench who thinks they're just watching in slow-mo, like they're getting buried on, and then the goalie just completely bails you out. It gives you life. If you can do that a couple times in a game, it's just massive. But yeah, not hanging that on Bobber at all. But like you said, that one clapper from the top of the circles that goes under his glove, like
Mhm.
it's kind of more of those ones that look like they could have been a routine save that you don't really even pay attention to, and they end up being a massive goal in a massive game. It is what it is. You're going to talk about it.
In support of Sick Kids, Echoes_Jagan writes in and submits this super chat. Would you let Mitch and JT go and use the money to offer sheet Bouchard? Leafs need a puck mover bad. I think that's firstly impossible. The Leafs don't have any first round picks. And if you're getting to that ilk with Evan Bouchard, 9, 10, 11 million bucks, you're going to need multiple first round picks. But I don't know if I'd be addressing the blue line. Like, I feel pretty good about what they have on the blue line. I agree with you. I think they need a puck mover that's not Morgan Riley, but I just don't know if offer sheet is the way to go. And I don't think Bouchard's going to be anybody they even think about adding this summer.
Yeah, I don't think that really solves the problem, the issues. I just think their D was solid, man. Like, remember, like I didn't think they got enough credit throughout their playoffs and the end of the season, the back end for the Toronto Maple Leafs. They have been, kind of in the past, there's just so many breakdowns, odd man rushes, lost assignments, and stuff like that, and you're rolling your eyes at the Justin Holes and whatnot of the teams. And I just was so thrilled. Like, even Benoit, who you could call their sixth guy, was just like, you're just oozing and gushing about him after certain games. Like, they really came together, had a system, could pull it off like night after night, and played heavy, played hard, blocked the shots, just really solid. I'm fine going into the season with, because you don't have a lot of things to make moves. It's difficult. So to waste some bullets on the back end, it's like, it's not your problem. That's not what didn't get you past Florida. So I'd like to see the front end address, second line center, some depth, things of that ilk for sure.
Could I interest you in Evander Kane? 1 year left at 5.125. I've been talking about all week. I think it's very, very likely he departs Edmonton this summer. They got to free some cap. Evan Bouchard, Connor McDavid, like, there's money to be had there. And I don't know if Evander Kane fits there long-term. Like, you're left in his deal. Would he be a guy you'd like to trade for?
I sure throw it around. What's he make? 5 something?
5, just a shade over 5.1.
Yeah, can we get Hyman back for 5? Can we?
No, we can't. No.
Can we write that wrong? Yeah, something to think about. I don't know. His personal life kind of scares me a little bit. Even like case in point, showing up in a Ferrari and a Rolls Royce or whatever the hell that shtick was, just such a meathead, personal, individual, look at me type of move, and like what was the purpose behind that? Like, what is the purpose of showing up in a Rolls Royce? Like, going out of your way during your game day prep to organize renting this stupid goddamn thing, and you have to drive it 100 feet to get in for the cameras so that everyone's talking. Like, what are you trying to say? I'm rich. Like, everyone knows you've gone through horrendous bankruptcy and poor money management issues. Like, what are you saying? I really don't understand it. And then the fact he was like run out of Winnipeg, and I think he's done a lot of maturing since then. By all accounts, there's no problems in Edmonton as far as that stuff's concerned. So maybe it's just something you'd probably talk about before it comes to fruition. But I'm not sitting here holding my breath, crossing my fingers about Evander Kane, although he is a highly talented player who can play with some sand and some grit and some snot, which is obviously appealing.
Yeah, I would love to know the optics behind that too. Like, you spending 4 or 5 hours trying to just like break down and figure out where you're renting these vehicles. I don't know. It's just like, it sounds like a headache to me and like unneeded, right? Like,
it's ridiculous. It's like insane. You're playing
juvenile.
You're playing a game of that magnitude. Like, if you were the coach, I would pull him aside and say, what the fuck are you doing? Renting like that's your preparation. Like you disrupt your game day routine to dick around with phone calls and can you meet me at this? Yeah, I'm going to be coming down at this time. And yeah, if I leave it here, I got to leave you the keys. And can I get it back to you after that? Like, this is what you're thinking about on a game day. Why? So that you can be flashy or something. Like, it's just so dumb. It drives me nuts. If I was his teammate, I would be like, I was watching, I think it was Hyman, on a show, on a podcast, talking about that, and he's like, "Oh, that's just Evander," you know. I was just like, "Yeah, right." I think that's the stupidest goddamn thing you've ever seen in your life. It's just insane. Like, look at me, personal, flashy. Like, and what is even? Why do you even want people to look at you in a car like that? Like, what does it say? I have a whole bunch of money. Like, what the hell does that say? It's just so goddamn dumb.
I love how we started this conversation. You said you'd be open to adding Evander Kane. A roundabout way of telling me you have no interest in Evander Kane.
Well, no, I'm not going to write the kid off as a person and a player because of one stupid move. I guess we didn't address that. I just think it is just the most asinine thing I could ever think. If I was a coach, I would just be so furious that a guy is that idiotic. But it's one move. I'm not going to, paint him with a brush because of that incident, although there's been a lot of Evander Kane character incidents. So, yeah, I guess, like I said, it would be something I would talk about in the war room and throw his name up there. What does this look like? Crunch the cap with him, whatever. Go in depth to his numbers and all the rest of it, fine. But like I said, not holding my breath or keeping my fingers crossed about him.
I like the way he plays, but that's probably
me
where
too.
it stops. I would love you one day to break down the picture of him. And I know he was like 23, 24 in Vegas with a stack of cash using it as a phone. That was vintage Evander Kane stuff.
Same idea. And then the guy goes bankrupt. Like, it's just priorities aren't there.
Yeah.
Whatever. Maybe his folks aren't, able to, put his head on straight when he's young, came into a lot of money. I don't judge people like that. But yeah, he's got a bunch of he's got a little bit of tarnishment on some past behavior. There is no question.
It's amazing, man. Like thinking about like just the career. Like, I remember being at the World Juniors in Ottawa. He was on that Ottawa team with Eberle, and he was some fresh face, I think 17-year-old with a bird cage on, and he was really, really making an impact, and scouts were really talking about him. Then he goes to Winnipeg, the whole tracksuit story. It's been an up and down career, but I think it'd be kind of cool if Evander Kane won a Stanley Cup this year. But again, I expect a bounce back of sorts here from the Florida Panthers. I want to get a bit into Brad Marchand. It just seems like on the daily, and I can't tell if this is real or not because it's Brad Marchand, and he knows how to speak to the media in a certain light and a way and get people going in Toronto specifically. But I'm sure he caught the one-on-one with Elliott Friedman prior to game one, but pretty much asked him, would you ever play in Canada? And he's like, I'm going to exhaust all options. I'm going to be open to anything. What's your read on Brad Marchand? Do you think this is realistic that he becomes a Maple Leaf potentially?
I mean, anything's possible. I don't have a read on him. He says that to keep all options open. Like, you want to respond in a way that, he's going to go to, free agency and wants to have as many offers and as many options as humanly possible. So of course he's going to answer the question. It doesn't change oh my goodness. Like, it doesn't change anything. Is it possible? Yeah, it would have to be, the money would have to be right. The fit would have to be right. I don't know where his head's at. I imagine, especially if he wins a Stanley Cup down in Florida, he would like to stay there.
What are you paying this guy? What are you paying Brad Marchand at, what, 37?
Well, that's the thing. Like, now, what did Chris Johnston just release that he thinks teams would be interested upwards of $8 million?
Why is it always players that are linked to the Toronto Maple Leafs where their contract demands come out weeks before? Like, apparently Sam Bennett, there's teams who want 10 mil for Sam Bennett. Like, no other teams, like, why aren't we talking about Nikolai Ehlers and trolling Winnipeg? It's always Toronto, man.
It is. I don't know if it's bias from us or we're too close to it or what the story is, but it does seem to be a theme where, everyone with the coverage the Leafs get, everyone kind of knows what they're missing and what they're looking for. And it does seem like whenever, someone that would check those boxes comes up, it's just astronomical.
Like, put it this way, Rosie, Mitch Marner, who's probably departing Toronto, hasn't even surfaced what he's actually looking for in free agency. In the span of 3 days, the two highest guys have been linked. Yeah, they're both guys linked to the Maple Leafs. The prices have come out for these guys. Makes no sense to me.
It's tough because I mean the three guys we just talked about, even with Evander Kane, like I like the way he plays with some piss and vinegar and some snot. Like it's getting harder and harder to find. I think the kids of that are coming up in generations, I think they're losing testosterone. I really do. I think that's even like they're
Aren't people
talking about
taking
that
tests
in
these days? Aren't people taking tests? That's a
the
big thing in
testosterone
Toronto. Is
test.
it a big thing in Alberta?
Taking testosterone tests?
Yeah. No,
Not
like
to my
taking
knowledge.
taking jabs, man. It's a big thing around here, man. I
Oh,
always am like, is
taking
that
tests? Oh,
yeah,
really? Yeah,
yeah.
fuck, I don't know. I don't know about that. I was hoping I was low T so I could maybe,
Yeah, see, there
get
you're
some
doing
without
things.
feeling like a juice monkey, but they're like, "No, you're fine." I was like, "Damn it." But,
You didn't
as you
have to
get
go to the
older, that becomes
doctors.
a
I could
thing.
have told you without going to the doc, you're fine, Rosie. I know
Okay, yeah, I got it
you're
coming
fine.
out, but, it's very toxic, by the way. These I don't know, it's harder and harder to find guys that play with that piss and vinegar. They just don't make them like that anymore. Like, they're
Yeah.
hard to find. So, when they do come up on the market, I mean, I would be open to not overpaying, but like, I understand the price is steep, but like, do you let this fish get away or not? And there's always going to be, risks. I mean, Bennett, you expect him to come here and just be this savior, right? And be this guy that just gets you over the hump. He's like a 50-point guy. Like
Yeah.
he's not this generational talent, albeit he's one of the only guys that just stands out as just everything and anything that the Leafs are missing in the playoffs. Brad Marchand, kind of same thing. At his age, you'd think, you can get him at $4.5-5 million.
No.
But everyone else kind of sees what he brings to the table and how clutch he is and his experience level. And that could drive it up to 7 or 8. What their number is for the Maple Leafs on getting these guys, I don't know. I do know that if we're going to overpay for a guy, which they've done a million times in the past, I would like it to be a guy who has got a track record of being a playoff monster and who has some balls and some testosterone to go in there and say, I will just put my head down and just go through walls to have success, which obviously I think they're missing that on the Maple Leafs.
Brock Nelson's off the board. We saw that yesterday, 3-year deal at 7.5 sheets per season. I think a guy to watch from the Maple Leafs perspective. We saw him a lot with Boston. Was traded to Colorado at the deadline. Was Charlie Coyle. Doesn't sound like he's going to re-sign with Colorado, and he's certainly a name. Shoots right, plays center. I think would be a big add in the bottom six. Can play in the top six when need be. Charlie Coyle's a guy I definitely would have on my radar. By the way, I'm still taking shrapnel in my mentions from the whole CN Tower debate we had the other day. But are you too?
A
lot of pissed off liberals, Rosie. I don't know what I did to piss these people. I ruined their week, man.
Liberals are mad that they want to paint.
I kid you not. People were after me the other day, man. I don't know why. I just had an opinion on the damn CN Tower.
I just tweeted their tweet and just said, why? Like, why? And everyone's like, it says right there in the caption why they did it, to show support for Canada. Like, I know why, but like, why? I could care less. I think that's why you put that shit out there. It's obviously someone thought it was a good idea, so there's going to be other people, and it strikes a nerve with others. So it's fun to throw that shit out there. Who cares? You love taking the heat on the internet. Your blocked list is. I've never blocked anyone on Twitter to this day.
I was talking about during the Cup Final game, I spent half an intermission just blocking people in my mentions, man. It's just such a fulfilling feeling.
I'm always like, well, what if they say something I want to interact with and I can't see it?
I won't talk to them. Chances are, my one rule is I won't block you until you make a derogatory remark or you are an asshole to me. Like you say something that pisses me off. Like you call me a loser or a bitch or. I'm open for debate. I think it's fun. I think that's a great aspect of social media. But when somebody comes after me, that's when I block them.
Yeah, there's a lot of idiots, and they're never really
I got time for it.
As a real personal account or anything, just some avatar. I get it, man. I get it. And you've been in the Twitter game longer than I have, but I'm still going strong. No blocks.
Yeah, no. Somebody linked me to that Fulton Reed account, and I was gonna go back at them because out of nowhere, this person starts chirping me. It's like, oh, I'm really going to rely on this guy. What's he going to tell me about Leafs fandom? He's been a Leafs fan for 15 years. I've been a Leafs fan, since way before he was in diapers. Like, I'm like, what a cock measuring debate we're having right now. And I was going to be like, I'm like, dude, you're tweeting at me from an alias account because you're too pussy to share your name. Like, but I didn't do it. I just blocked him. I'm like, I don't got to deal with this shit. So I say it on my podcast instead.
There's lots of times I'm formulating a tweet
And then you like delete.
and
Should
I'm
I
just
do
like,
this?
yeah, this ain't worth it. Because I've thrown them out there before, and then you're just like, God, open a can of worms, and maybe it is.
This is when you're liquored up a bit and you're like, I'm like so close, like fuck you and your family, and then I just don't do it. I'm like,
Yeah,
can't
probably
do it.
best not to throw
Yeah,
that out, Nikki. That's
you're
a
right.
little bit heavy.
Yeah.
Sometimes I'm just opening a can of worms, and then I'm like, and then when I do it, it's like they have a response, and I'm like, are you kidding me? So then I like and I'm like, what am I getting into? I don't like mudslinging. I like a good debate and a good back and forth, but mudslinging. I threw out a tweet that was talking about Bennett, like, he's barely scratched 50 points in his entire career. Yet he is leading the NHL in goals and is like the heart and soul of one of the best teams in decades. And I'm like, you cannot tell me that it doesn't take a certain type of player to succeed in the playoffs. Kind of a little a la Mitch Marner. But people were like, because I didn't say one of the best teams in decades. I said the best team in decades. And people went, like, the fucking Chicago Blackhawks and the Pittsburgh Penguins. I was like, dude, they've been to 3 finals in a row. Very well could have 2 cups. They're one of the best teams in friggin' history. Like, let's get serious. But yeah, you misword something on Twitter and people come looking.
Man, God forbid you have an opinion that people disagree with or don't agree with. And it's like, I think that's the great thing about life. I have an opinion, you have an opinion. We have a Leafs podcast. Sometimes we disagree. It's life. But then it's like always these people, and they're usually scatterbrained on Twitter that like have to be right. So they'll just like bombard you.
It's funny because that's what Twitter is. It's an opinion. It's all opinion based. Like, it sucks when it's political. I don't know, like with the information age and the internet now, with all the information you have available to you, you think that would get everyone on the same page. Like, we all know the same stuff, but all it's done is just create these echo chambers of, whether it's liberals or conservatives or left or right, or, fans of this team or that team, or Dubasites and people. Like, it just doesn't matter. It just divides people, and you end up hanging out on your apps on your phone with people of the same opinion. You just hear it over and over again, and you're so convinced you're right, and you literally don't even see the other side of the conversation. And then when you peel the curtain back and see someone that has that, you just are flabbergasted and need to attack them. I'm always conscious of that, because it can get so toxic on that shit often. I try to keep an open mind.
Fair enough. Okay, we roll on here. We got to get to this Easton Cowan interview. The following interview is brought to you by our good friends over at Credit Bar YYZ, the ultimate hangout spot in Toronto. Whether you're catching the big game, diving into some classic arcade action, or grabbing some unreal street food, Greta Bar's got you covered. Planning a team building night or a corporate event, Greta Bar is the perfect place to bring the crew together for good vibes and great memories. For more info, head on over to gretabar.com. That's gretabar.com, 590 King Street West. Greta Bar, let the games begin. As mentioned earlier this week, we had a chance to catch up with Memorial Cup MVP, Memorial Cup champion, Easton Cowan. Enjoy. Well, Easton, first off, congratulations, man. How's it feel? Has it sunk in yet?
Thank you. Yeah, it's kind of finally starting to sink in right around now. I mean, just an unreal feeling. Bringing it home to London. I mean, it's just been great to spend these last couple of days with the guys and just really enjoy our time together and celebrate the Memorial Cup.
It's really damn cool, man. It's cool. It's been nice to see your development over the last couple of years, your maturating as well. And I think the unique aspect about this whole run for your London Knights is like the similarities, in my opinion, at least, to the Edmonton Oilers, what they're going through right now, where you guys rose so close last year, didn't hit the goal, and then come back this year even stronger. Can you talk about how that took shape, the process to get back to that pivotal game to finally win it too?
Yeah, obviously last year sucked and it was unfortunate, but I felt like all the guys and I just really focus on that this summer to keep getting better, and we all stay in touch. We're a super close group, and to be able to get back to the finals, that's what we wanted. And O'Reilly said at the beginning of the year our goal was to win the last game, and that's what we did. So just super proud of this group.
Easton, now that you've gotten it done in the Memorial Cup and you've been on both sides of it in back-to-back years, what was the difference between last year with the heartbreak and this year getting the job done as you look back? Was there any differences from your experience and how you prepared for this one that you won?
I mean, last year in the final, we kind of came out a bit slow, so that sucked, but we couldn't really we never really got our feet under us. So this year, having that experience, we came out a bit slow again, but then we finally got our feet under us. And obviously, Elliott there made a bunch of saves to keep us in the game early. And then we got the goal, the first goal of the game. And then we got the second, and we just built from there. So it was good that, we scored the first one. And I really feel like our experience took over.
At which point in that tournament or game did you know that this was the year you're finally going to get the job done?
I mean, when I scored to make it 4-0, I started to maybe think, okay, this could be coming true, but then it got called back. So I was like, uh-oh, here we go again. And then Bark scored to make it 4-0, but we knew they had a really good offense. I mean, Gav and everyone over there, they got a good offense, so we had to be ready, and we came out sharp in the third, and they got one quick, and then luckily they got one called back. But either way, I felt like we were winning at. I mean, we have good structures, we have good defense, and we were super confident in our game there.
Easton, as you take the leap to pro hockey here now that your junior hockey career is over, do you have any goals in mind of what you want to accomplish this year, or are you going to kind of take it as it comes?
I mean, every kid in my situation would probably say to make the NHL, and that's definitely my goal. I mean, I feel like I'm capable of doing that. I just gotta keep getting bigger, keep getting faster, and keep getting stronger. And it's just in my hands. I feel like I'm smart enough and able to play, but obviously I gotta get bigger, and that's just in my hands. And I'll take advantage of that this summer. Training in London, training a bit in Toronto too. So it'll help me out a lot, and just super excited for camp, and I'll be ready for it for sure.
How much do you think it'll help you playing in London? I've told you before, I went to Fanshawe College. I covered you guys. Like the media is pretty heavy and hard on the team when they don't do well. And when they do well, they praise them. And I honestly feel like that will set you up for success and sets up a lot of players who go through the organization into the NHL. Do you think that'll help in the long run?
I mean, ever since I've got drafted here, I said, London's kind of like the Toronto of the OHL. I mean, a lot of people love you, and then there's a lot of people who hate you. So it's been good for me to kind of get that, under my belt, the experience here. And I'll just keep doing my thing. I know people are going to love me or people are going to hate me, and that's just how the world is these days. So I'll just keep doing my thing, and that's, playing hockey and keep getting better, and just keep working hard.
Mm-hmm. Speaking of getting better, what have you accomplished this year as far as improvements from the last time people might have saw you at camp? This past hockey season, what do you think you've gotten better at?
I mean, my 200-foot game for sure has gotten better. I find like, I've been managing the puck so much better. That's what I wanted to work on this year too. And it was good for me to come back to the OHL and have another year and keep developing. And, I know when to take a risk and when not to. And I feel like I'm a very reliable player. I can play both ends of the ice. And I'm a guy that, I want to be out there on the last minute, whether we're up a goal or down a goal. So I feel like I learned that a lot this year.
And Easton, I mean, you've pretty much etched your name in terms of greats in that organization's history. What did it mean to you to be sort of attached to the hip of one of the major records held by Mitch Marner?
Yeah, I mean, it's awesome. He's been such a great role model for me. I mean, he texts me all the time, and he's obviously my favorite player growing up, and, still is probably my favorite player. So super special to have, kind of my name in the same sentence as him. It means a lot, but I got a lot to work on, and nowhere close to being, near him or any of those guys yet that played for the Knights. So I got to keep going, and I know there's a lot more to go here.
Mm-hmm. Easton, you played for Dale Hunter, obviously had a lot of success with him, and I believe he's close with Craig Berube, and there's a lot of similarities between those two coaches. Does that kind of excite you as far as having somewhat of a familiarity around camp with Craig Berube and the Maple Leafs?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I loved Chief last year. He was great. He taught me so much. Even when I got sent back, we had a good talk, and he's always been good to me. And obviously, Dale and him are close, so just have that connection will be huge. And I know how Dale coaches. I know what he likes, and it's similar as Chief. It's defense first, and it will lead to offense. So I'm just gonna keep playing my game and earn the trust of Chief for sure.
What has the communication been like from the Leafs since winning the Mem Cup?
It's been great. I mean, everyone texts me. They want me to just relax now, enjoy the time, have some fun, and just get away from the game. It's been good for me. I mean, I've been on 3 long runs here with London, so just be able to put the hockey sticks away, pull out the golf clubs, go to some patios with some friends and just, really enjoy my time and, get some food with people I haven't saw in a while. It's been huge. So just enjoying my time here for sure.
Mm-hmm. And again, going back to that jump to pro hockey, it is a pretty big jump, but there's players of your caliber who have been able to do it seamlessly and with success. What do you think is the biggest challenge and some of the things you're going to have to tackle to make sure that you have the same success as those guys?
I mean, I know I'm smart enough to play, so just being able to, manage the puck well during camp will be huge for me. I mean, just being able to, I know I can kill penalties. I know I can play on the power play or 5-on-5, 4-on-4. So just being able to play in any situation will be huge for me and just play simple. I mean, you're not going to be able to beat guys wide every time or go through the stick. It's the NHL, and it's definitely a huge jump, and I'll be ready for camp for sure.
I know it's been a whirlwind week for you, but what will you miss most? Have you thought about like your junior hockey career, what you'll miss most about playing junior hockey?
Yeah, I mean, try not to think about it too much. I mean, these are some of the best years of my life playing in London, a team I grew up for, and then being able to bring two OHL championships back here and then a Memorial Cup. It's been special, and I'm actually in the rink right now. Right behind me is the rink. So just kind of looking at this is super sad, but just so many great memories here. I mean, I wouldn't be where I am today without the London Knights organization, so it's been huge for me.
Pretty damn amazing too. That's the way you go out. Like, what a story, right? To win a Memorial Cup, to win the tourney MVP. Didn't even ask you about that. The personal accomplishment of winning Memorial Cup MVP. What did that mean to you?
Yeah, I mean, it was great. Ever since this year started, the only trophy I wanted to win was the Memorial Cup, and that's what we got. So obviously it was cool to win the MVP, but at the end of the day, the trophy I wanted to win was that Memorial Cup for sure.
Easton Wicked, it's been awesome doing this with you the last couple of years and seeing your growth and development, and awesome. And congratulations once again for doing this, and appreciate it, man.
Thank you.
What an absolute beauty. Easton Cowan of the London Knights has played his final junior game. And again, Rosie, as we concluded that interview, what a way to go out, man. To win the Memorial Cup, to win the MVP has to feel good for that kid right now.
The Ray Bork of the O, winning a championship as you exit stage right. Pretty sweet. Yeah. And, even though he looks like kind of a babyface kid there, which is a good thing, this kid's young. He's got many, many good years ahead of him. I also love the way he plays with some piss and some vinegar, which people won't probably find very surprising. But I do like that. Again, monster year he just had. I'm sure he's going to draw from that experience and give it his best shot, as he mentioned there. He will be ready for camp.
At the Leafs Nation 401, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. It's time now for the crispy hot take of the day, presented by the Ninja Crispy 4-in-1 portable glass air fryer.
Meet the first of its kind, the Ninja Crispy portable cooking system. The power of a full-sized air fryer in the palm of your hand, so you can cook big or small batches. Just prep it, crisp it, serve it, and store it all in one.
It is an all-in-one system. It includes 4-quart, 6-cup Tupperwares, glass containers, and 2 storage lids. The Ninja Crispy is thermal shock resistant and go from frozen to crispy in minutes. As you guys know, we're giving away a free one in the next couple weeks. And following up our playoff promotion over the next few weeks, we'll be giving away, as mentioned, a free Ninja Crispy 4-in-1 portable glass air fryer. To be eligible to win, all you got to do is head on over to our Instagram page at TLNDC to find our contest sign up. After that, follow at Ninja Crispy Canada. Reply with what kind of dish you'd like to cook in your Ninja Crispy. Contest available to Canadian residents only, and will end on June 6th. That's today at 11:59 p.m. Eastern time. So make sure you do that if you want to be eligible to win this beauty.
Yeah, none of you Yanks apply. It's for Canadians only, too. Yeah, I'm hungry again watching that one. It's good, but I got a feeling this hot take's going to be hot today from producer Vic.
Always scorching hot from producer Vic, and credit to him. It's been like 3 months long, this campaign, and he's had like 3 hot takes a week. So today's hot take: the Maple Leafs need to re-sign John Tavares. That's the hot take, that according to producer Vic. Need.
I didn't read it that way in the rundown.
He changed it. He texted me. Yeah, I know.
He went from the polar bloody opposite.
This guy ghosted me all night long and decides he has to change it on the fly here, and here we are.
Oh, no, the chat thing blows up. Let's hear what he has to say. The first one was Nick's. Oh.
Yeah, it was.
Okay, well, for people listening on our breakdown, it said that the Leafs will not re-sign
I think that's a bigger hot take.
Tavares. Yeah, me too. But it wasn't his, and this is an authentic show
True.
with actual personal views. We don't just throw this stuff together willy-nilly. Let's just talk about both of them. Like, if they don't re-sign him, I think it will be because they want to get his AAV down. They want to change the culture and all this bullshit, which is understandable. And whatever they're willing to give him, John and his agent are just like, I scored 30, almost 40 goals last year, dude. Like, this is disrespectful to offer me this low. But I to switch it to the new hot take of the day, they will resign him. I think it's going to be 4.5 times 6, right? It's going to run into his retirement, no question. 4.5 is a good number you can handle. And I want that to bump John down to kind of between second and third line center. If they can go get a second line center, we talk about the depth being so important and being able to roll the lines and have everyone coming at you wave after wave, line after line. If you have John Tavares, a guy who recently almost scored 40 as your third line C, depending on who he's playing with and whatnot, that gets you really deep down the middle, which is something they've struggled with, especially this season. Very interesting. I hope they get John done. People are like, well, I thought you wanted to change the DNA. Well, you are changing it if you take him from 11 down to 4.5, slide him to the 3C, bring in a 2C, and now all of a sudden your DNA is good, but you keep a good piece of the pie and everything that's positive about John Tavares. I mean, if you get rid of him, you're just going to have to fill it, and I don't really see who that's going to be.
Even if I think they're screwed, you can't say that and put it out into the media spotlight because John Tavares can't know that. The leverage has to be with the Maple Leafs, but I think there's a level of agreement for my part that like, who's out there? Who are you replacing John Tavares with? Even if you think he's a 3C, I still think he's a 2C. I think that conversation could change. I think it opens up more possibilities. If you bring in, say, a Bennett or another high-profile center, you can move Tavares to the wing. We're going to have that conversation. Everybody's talking about 3C. He could easily be a winger on the second line. Like, there's just so many variations that you can play with. But I still think it's a hot take that he doesn't re-sign because I think the cat was out of the bag, and maybe the Leafs go in opposite direction, but I think they find out quickly, Rosie, like there's not many other options that are going to, make this team better, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I know what you mean. You talk about leverage and all this. I don't think this needs to be a big cat and mouse game. It's John.
I think he's strong arm his ass. You're taking 3 at 4 years, or we're not re-signing you. So I just
can't be like, you can't like based on principle. Can he sign that? Is he just going to completely bend over and say, okay, like, offer me something borderline insulting, like he did almost score 40, right?
Yeah, but the thing is, he has let it be known that he wants to stay in Toronto, and nothing has been leaked to the otherwise, or that he's even looking at other teams. So you use that to your benefit in negotiations.
Well, you're going to start as low as you can without being insulting.
Yes.
I get it. His agent also is going to want something to say that. He's going to be in John's ear. His agent gets a piece of the number as well. So they're going to try to get as much as they can, but I'm sure John has a number in his mind that he very well might just go in there on his own and say, listen, I know what you need. I'm not dumb. I've been around the block. I get what this looks like. This is a number here that's lower than what I'm worth. I think it works for you guys. I want to come back. I want to be a part of this. I want to leave you some room to get other guys to make this team better so we can win a Stanley Cup. Does this make sense? And they'll probably say yay or nay. And I imagine if it's fair and it makes sense and it is on the team side of things, I think they will say yes to John and bring him back.
Fair enough. We move on here. I want to get in the action for Stanley Cup playoffs at Bet365. They got you from game props, player props, totals on the money line. Whatever your bet is, it's never ordinary at Bet365. Download the app and get in the game. An official partner of the Stanley Cup playoffs. Must be 19 or older, Ontario only. Please play responsibly. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem, visit ConnexOntario.ca. I'm doubling down. I'm back on Edmonton tonight. Money line.
Wowza, a home sweep against the Big Cats. That's interesting. I'm disagreeing with you wholeheartedly. I think the Cats are going to win this game. It's going to be 1-1 going back down to Florida, which I don't think should surprise anyone. As we mentioned at the beginning of the show, these are two monstrosities, East and West. I would not be surprised if they split. And after watching them go through that Toronto series with Florida, I know how well they can respond when they don't get the result they want. I think they can tie this series up. I got the Cats tonight. Although the Oilers are kind of like breaking down barriers too. Like they were just they just outrageous number the Florida Panthers when leading going into the third period, the 34-1 or something of that. It looked like just nuts, and they flipped the script there the other night. So it is possible they win one more. My goodness, are they ever in a driver's seat? But another team in recent fashion went up 2-0 on them, and it did not guarantee the series win, did it?
I did not want to live that down again. I did not. But just looking right now, I think the Oilers listed as the slight favorite in this game.
I saw that. I already bet the Panthers, so I'm on the Florida Panthers tonight. I think it's very difficult to win both, even though you are at home. I think the Panthers are going to put up a damn good fight and have a good chance of winning game 2 to tie the series at 1 apiece.
Anyways, that's going to do it. I was just chuckling. Leafsland in our YouTube chat is pissed because I blocked him on MSN Messenger last night because I got tired of the messages, got tired of people deleting messages and chats, and appreciate the cartoons that you send us, but it's still copyright. It's our show. So you're grabbing our content and making your own content and posting that content. So
so you blocked them. You're a trigger finger with the block, man.
I've got, again, it just, I don't even use Facebook Messenger. Like, this is on Facebook Messenger.
Apparently you do, because you're checking it and blocking people on it.
He called me a child. I am a child, Leafsland. Sorry, man.
No more fighting with our subscribers in the YouTube
sensitive
chat.
Much. He's in cap lock mode.
You are kind of sensitive, Nick. I will say that. You've been known to be a little bit sensitive. That's okay.
Yeah. I really take this stuff really to heart.
All right. Just know, if you're following Nick, send a message. He's hot on the block button, so don't get on his bad side.
No, maybe Donnie does this just right. You block me, so I don't go to block you. That is some smart psychology, Donnie. We love you. Leafsland, facts, Rosie. This is why he can't get a date. Okay.
Now it's getting personal. I've seen you go on lots of dates.
No comment. That's where I leave it. I had to call this guy out because he's
you said, when it gets
he's
personal,
been doing is promoting his YouTube channel in our chat for 3 fucking months. So I had to call it out. Anyways,
wrap this baby up. I love it. I like a little heat and some steam to end the show, baby. Let's go.
I'll drop him. Jokes aside, appreciate all the support here on the podcast. You guys are killing it. I know it's a downtime. We expect things to pick up for the Maple Leafs the next couple weeks. Do have a couple guests booked already for next week. We got Gord Stellick Monday. We got Andy Petrillo Tuesday, and Daryl Sutter is going to drop by on Wednesday. So a gauntlet of guests for you all next week.
Sachi Bobatsi, Andy. We had her on a little while ago. Maybe it was 2 years ago now. I think it was our first year.
We never had Andy on.
Really?
Correct.
That'll be good to say hi to her. For some reason, I remember saying hi because she was Leafs TV, I think, when I was playing there, and she was a really cool chick, always hanging out and have a BS in the locker room. And she's kicking ass now, obviously, with her broadcasting career. So it'll be good to pick her brain a little bit as well.
We'll leave with this, Sir Bob Laws. I can set Nick up with a mannequin from the Bay. The Bay's done, dude. My mom worked there for like 30 years.
That's why he's saying it. That's the only thing in those buildings now is mannequins.
Exactly. Man, it's a sad time. I remember the Bay just going there on like Saturday mornings. Like,
dude, that started as a fur trading company in like the 1700s, and Amazon, boom, shut their doors. It is sad. It's a Canadian landmark icon, something rather, that is no more. Kind of sad for sure.
This guy's going on my throat. No woman will date a man that has to wax his back and has rejected Nike swooshes for eyebrows, but that's cool. Have a nice day, Chuckles. I struck a chord with Mr. Leafsland.
Was that Leafland there?
Yeah, he's on fire. Hey, I give you the forum to do your thing.
You sure did strike a chord.
It's always the brows, man. It's always the brows. People come after the brows.
Like, I thought they were wild. I thought they were wild in their natural habitat, but you actually get those done, and they still got that, that heavy feel.
My girl, no, Vic, don't block him. He's cool. My girl actually reached out the other day and was like, "Where have you been?" I just haven't been maintaining those puppies. You know why? I was growing everything out for playoffs, including the brows.
Gotcha. Yeah, that's over now, isn't it?
It is. All right, guys. Great stuff today, Rosie. Excellent stuff. We'll talk on Monday at the Leafs Nation 401. Hit that like button. Hit that subscribe button. Don't block us, please. Leafs Morning Take, wherever you find your podcast. Make sure to leave us a 5-star review. And don't forget to visit theleafsnation.com. Thank you to producer Vic. Thank you to Jay Rosehill. I'm Nick Alberga. We'll talk on Monday. Take care, everybody. Make sure to check out more of our content right here on the Leafs Nation YouTube page. We got long-form interviews. We got clips. We got epic rants by Jay Rosehill. We simply have it all. And don't forget, you can find out much more at theleafsnation.com. Thanks so much for watching.